The first phase has been issued. Anekweku on MM. The first phase has been issued, and a lot will be reviewed in the coming weeks and in the coming future. It doesn't matter how fast they want to play. Do you know what matters more? What matters more is that Biafran restoration has become one of the most outspoken knowledge of perseverance. No matter what it is done today, no matter how it is done tomorrow, victory has already been recorded. So let's get ourselves ready. The first phase has started. Now, the Biafran government has issued the warning to all oil companies operating in Biafran territory. You can talk of those operating in Nigeria. You don't have the capacity in Biafran land. Biafran army is in charge of Biafra territory. It will deal with you terrorists from this month. No breathing space. Mazi Simon Ekpa has spoken. You see, for so long, many of you have refused to take over that which belongs to you. I don't know whether it is fear or whatever the case may be. But now, just like I said before, that we cannot continue to blame the British or the US for invading our land or enslaving our parents. No, it is our duty now to fight for our freedom because it is our country. We need to be free. It's a very simple something. Very, very simple. If we are going to tell ourselves the truth. So we cannot continue to run blames on anybody or try to blame anybody. Because blaming anybody is a waste of time. What we are talking about now is that give us Biafra, let's go. Let's be free. It is not must to be in the same country. So every oil companies that are operating in Biafra land should now note that enough is enough. And now each and every one of them will understand the drums that has been beaten. And this very drum this particular drum will reach everybody's ears. So both Chevron, any company that has been illegally operating in Biafran land should be ready to pack their bags. Because as it is now, Biafrans are no longer ready to tolerate any of their defaultments.
Are you married?
That's just the biggest truth. We can no longer tolerate them in our lands again. It has to be trade by barter. What are you bringing to our land? That's the question. You get? That's just the truth. So now I must say it with full chest and with full force that this is no longer a time where one should emulate any kind of disfiguredness. Biafra has come to stay, and we are going to win graciously, victoriously, and smartly. Let's continue to shine. They have now seen that nothing can stop Biafran actualization. Yesterday, you see, one thing is very, very important in every message that we share. Very, very important message that so many people do not realize on time. And by so doing, they have now seen that the withdrawal of the third country and joining the fourth nation to fight for the restoration and the peaceful redemption of Biafra is now happening before their very eyes. We must put ourselves together to understand one of the biggest and one of the most important messages of life. And this very message is that Biafra must be actualized. Let me put it like this. You see, a lot of people have made several mistakes in the past, and of course, Nnamdi Kanu has insisted that Biafra must happen in our generation. That means this time it's not going to be 100 years later, it's not going to be 200 years later, it's not going to be 400 years, it's going to happen in our time, in the next few months, in the next few years. That's what we're talking about. They are now saying that it's no longer a joke. It's no longer a joke. For those of them who called it a joke are now saying that indeed we are moving with more expectations, and restorations will be made whether they like it or not. This is part of the game, and permit me to safely say that we are now in that circle where each and every one of us must understand the game that is played. It doesn't matter how fast they are. But do you know what matters more? Is that Biafrans is already ahead of them. Now let's put this thing together. When the third country left the United States of America, there was a decision they made, and that decision took them to the final points order. Where that decision made them to stand is something they weren't expecting. Yes, they weren't expecting that very decision, because year in, year out, decisions must continue to be made. And that is why I have said it with my full chest, that no matter what happens today, Prime Minister Simon Ekpa has already set a good leverage that will beautify the nation called Biafra. So what happened? Immediately the third country withdrew, the fourth nation invited the third country to begin the discussion that has to do with Biafra. And that is their confusion. They were surprised. You see, the reason why Africa will never move forward is because of two countries. Yes, two countries. We may say three, but let me call two countries. You see, the United States of America and the British government, then the Arabian government. I am telling you the fact. That's the reason why they cannot move forward. And there's a reason for that. So, whatever that happens today, whatever that happens tomorrow, there is a big energy that one must sit to begin with. And when we have sit down to begin with, we can now tell ourselves freely, without lying to ourselves, that these three countries cannot continue to control the way we think, the way we behave, the way we act, the way we react. That is why I'm telling every Biafran, buckle up, your shoes are ready. Onyeno yogwane. You know the reason why I use that word, Onyeno yogwane, when you hear, tell your brother, is a reason. You will find out later.